So a fundamental component of patient-oriented research is that patients and their family members are included as an integral part of the research process from conception to dissemination and implementation. Patients as co-authors have the potential to represent meaningful patient-oriented research. Questions are now being asked about who is engaging patients. However, it does remain unclear whether this happens in practice. A descriptive evaluation of peer-reviewed literature published in PubMed between 2000 and 2019 in order to capture before and after the implementation of the SPORE strategy was conducted to explore the presence of patient partners as co-authors on peer-reviewed papers. And so more than looking at the quality, we were really curious about the authorship process and describing it using a scoping review methodology.
So here's a map of patient partners as co-authors worldwide using the location of the PI, which was almost always exclusively the same location as the patient partners. You can see here some of the top countries are Canada, the US, and the Netherlands were particularly prominent, with similar to how a PI might get associate professor in the little title bar. There's a whole range here. You can see dozens and dozens of different terms, patient partners to pacers, to family advisors, patient research partners. So really a very wide range of terms and titles available. The last one I'll show you here quickly is just a graph over time. So you can see really starting in 2014, but really 2016, 2017 is when things really pick up in terms of the number of papers that we were able to locate using this search strategy.
We looked at two different audiences for this paper. So what can researchers and principal investigators take away from this data?
Just the basic observation that patients as co-authors is a growing phenomenon in health research. And the other thing is for researchers who maybe haven't engaged patients in such a way that they ended up as co-authors in the paper, almost just seeing this as the idea of it is a normal phenomenon, is not an unusual thing anymore, whereas it might have been at the beginning of the SPORE strategy. Now it's a really routine part of health research for a lot of research teams.
What can patient partners take away from these results?
Almost to go back to the idea of titles, something for patient research partners to think about is whether or not we need more standard titles. Because on the one hand, what's a title? It doesn't really matter. But on the other hand, if we come up with maybe more consistent terms, we can almost kind of act as a branding exercise to make it easier for people to see the role of patient research partners on papers without having to kind of dig into papers to maybe get the details.
Well, that's great. Thanks, Paul, for the rundown on the takeaways. And with that concludes our presentation. So thanks to everybody for tuning in, and please email us with any questions.